noise? About nothing, because it was never recorded.
Because it was never recorded.
Yeah.
Did it even happen?
If a tree falls in the woods, does it make a noise?
We already covered that. We already talked about the concept of perception. Similar to, with the
if they never
Schrodinger's
heard,
cat.
If they never heard that episode, do they know we talked about it?
Did it happen?
Yeah.
Who knows?
They could be lost in the dark.
The observer. You need an observer. Or a watcher after a very long conversation about random ass Marvel shit and comic book stuff.
How did we start on that?
We were talking about...
Oh, 10 Rings.
10 Rings, that's right.
Yeah.
And then at some point in time, it devolved into...
How did we get from 10 Rings to Batman? Like, we were on a whole Marvel kick, and then we hit Batman. Oh, I know. No, it was me. It was me because I said kids on the internet are pissing me off because they're trying to compare Ben Affleck's Batman to Robert Pattinson's Batman, which hasn't fucking come out yet, so it's not fucking possible to rate that shit.
So you can't.
Yeah, so you can't. So you dumbass kids need to stop putting up Robert Pattinson's Batman because it's not a thing yet. Thank you.
You dang kids.
Welcome to my TED Talk.
Welcome to my TED Talk. They're so good.
How do you like that Pellegrino?
It's delicioso.
I like that.
I like that.
Italian.
It's Italian.
It's Italian.
Yeah, for any of the Italian listeners, I was asking because I'm way too lazy to look it up on whether or not. So when I was in Italy, they would refer to like carbonated water as frizzante.
Yeah,
and I don't know fully what that word means, as well as if that's just like a slang term for carbonated water, or if there's like a slang term, or if it's a real term.
It's probably slang.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like all of the Italian that I've ever learned has been like largely formal. So like I don't know a whole lot of like slang. And I'm also not super sure like what type of, because Italian is like it's a fairly formal language.
Yeah.
To a certain degree, at least from my understanding. And so I don't know how much like slang gets thrown in.
Yeah.
Comparatively to like English or Spanish and stuff.
There's a lot in Spanish. So particularly like Mexican Spanish, there's a lot of slang. So I learned Spanish in high school, and I tried to communicate with my dad and my aunts in the high school Spanish that I learned. And they're like, no, you're saying it wrong.
Super formal.
Right. And they're like, no, you're saying it wrong. That's like Spanish. This is how we say it. And I was like, what the fuck is it? Like, what is Spanish? Like, and so
you're not speaking that real Spanish.
Right. Yeah. So my dad ended up telling me, he's like, no, like, this is like Mexican Spanish, and this is how we say it like in LA. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay, but I'm not wrong. Like, my education is not wrong. It's just,
yeah, it's like very formal.
It's just not slang.
It would be like it would be as, because like what you learn in school would be very similar to people who would speak like proper English.
Yeah.
Would sound weird.
Yeah.
To be like very grammatically correct. Because a lot of what we use is like, even though the words themselves might not be slang, we speak in a very informal way.
Right.
For the most part.
Right.
So.
I get away with the slang that I've learned on the job sites with my guys. I feel like if I try to talk to them formally, they'd look at me like, well, just stop talking to us.
Well, I remember when I was in high school, like almost my entire freshman class or sophomore class was like already like Spanish speakers. And I kept always getting frustrated because I was like, this isn't fair.
Yeah.
Like, you speak Spanish like fluently.
Yeah.
Like some of them as a first language.
Yeah.
I'm like, how are you in this class? And then some of them, like some of them like didn't do very well. And I was like, how are you not doing well? Like, what is happening?
I ran into that in my high school. It's like some of them spoke fluent Spanish and they were getting C's and D's. And it's like, wait a minute. I'm getting by with a B- and I don't know Spanish.
Yeah.
How?
And it comes down to that formalities.
Yeah.
Right. So, because like if you're brought up, I think this applies to a lot of languages. I could be very wrong.
Yeah.
But like if you're brought up, you generally are speaking like what is common, right? The like common verbiage.
Yeah.
Where like a lot of people aren't speaking proper
by the book,
like by the book type of thing, right? So when we were like, when I was learning Spanish, and probably the same with you, was it was very much like formal Spanish, correct, like very much correct, like verb, not translations, conjugations, like proper sentence structure and all of that stuff.
Right.
And so it was like, because like at least some of my friends that were in the class were like, they were relying real heavily on like their understanding of it, but because it was so informal that it just didn't apply.
Yeah.
And so even though they might have known the words, to be able to put them together on paper in the way that it was supposed to be, like quote unquote correctly,
yeah,
they like struggled because they didn't take the time to actually learn it.
No, for sure. Like, so for one example, right? There's a way to say us, and then you guys, and then you guys informally or formally.
Is that voy and
so
noi?
No, it's, well, that for Spanish it's nosotros is us,
and vosotros.
Yeah, and vosotros is you.
That's Italian.
But no, vosotros. Oh, well, that one. Yeah,
what I was saying was Italian.
So there's vosotros is you all, but so is ustedes is you all, right?
Yes.
So in class, like, you have to use vosotros. But then when you go into the real world and you use vosotros, they look at you and call you stupid. You're like, that's dumb. Like, just use ustedes. Like, nobody uses vosotros. So I was like, but that's what I learned in school.
But that's what they taught me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting, like learning Spanish, because my freshman year when I was at the private school, our teacher was from Guatemala, and she had like a little bit of from what I remember, like a little bit of a different way to speak.
Yeah.
And then when I went to the public school, we had a honky, and he had like what would be like the formal, like the very much formal Spanish speaking one,
right?
Which was super weird, and because I remember getting a lot of stuff wrong going in, because they're like, our Guatemalan teacher like put her flair onto it.
Yeah.
We're like,
that's rough. That's rough. Yeah, I had my Spanish teacher was Mexican, and well, the one, let's see, who did I have? I think they were all Mexican. But when I tried to use slang, they were like, no, we don't do that in here.
Hard pass.
Yeah, you only use formal. And I was like, oh crap, okay.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Language
in schools is tough.
Yeah, it is. It's I feel like it's not a good way to learn.
No.
Like I feel like there has to be better ways to learn a language.
Babbel.
Yeah. Okay. Have you tried Babbel?
I haven't. I've tried Duolingo.
That's what I've been using.
Yeah.
They like, from a lot of the things that I read with like some of those app-based ones, they're good. They seem to be good to get you at like a very base conversation level understanding.
Right.
From like a speaking and reading standpoint. But like at least from like Duolingo, what I was reading specifically on the Italian section was that it's like it'd be equivalent to like a high school level education of like the language, assuming you were to complete it.
Yeah. And
be able to like fully conceptualize everything.
Right.
Which in my opinion, I was like, hell yeah, let's rock.
I mean, that helps. Like, as a beginner, that would help a great deal. For me, I kind of gave up on it 2 weeks in, because it was basically the same structurings of sentences, and I knew all this.
Yeah.
And I knew how to say all the words. I knew how to, like, I knew.
You could test out.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, you can like test out of sections within Duolingo.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't know that, and I was just like, "Fuck, this is boring." Like, I'm saying the same. Like, the cow went to eat, the dog went to sleep. I was like, I know how to say all this. Like, I need conversational Spanish.
Well, you got to build somewhere.
Well,
you got to build a base,
right? But I knew all that, so that base was irrelevant to me.
Irrelevant.
Yeah.
But did you know it formally?
I knew it formally and informally. Yeah, that's what I did for like the first. When I started back up in Duolingo, I was like, I remember a lot of these things. I was like, perfect. And I was just like testing out of all like the sections. I should give it another shot and test out, see how far I can test out before I actually need to start practicing.
Yeah.
But most of my Spanish actually came from the early understanding from high school, but then later on in life, speaking with David, my aunts, my cousins.
David?
Yeah, David.
You speak Spanish?
He's Salvadorian.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would not have guessed that.
Yeah, Kat has helped me speak Spanish. A couple other people have helped me speak Spanish. So my Spanish has developed over the years through conversation with people who I asked to only speak in Spanish with me. Otherwise, I was never going to learn. Also, I hope they can all hear the coyotes.
Oh, my God.
They're down the hill.
That sounds...
Super close?
Yes.
Yeah, they're probably down the hill.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Probably got
That sounds like a lot of them, too.
It's probably about 8.
What is happening?
They They probably found a kitty cat and
oh god,
had a feast. Poor kitty cat.
What a god! This state is weird. City is weird. God, I love it. Kind of. Do I love it? Do I really love it?
Do you love it?
Am I being hyperbolic with my phrasings?
Love it?
Well, anyway, language aside. Speaking of language,
is language the way to go in on that one?
Sure, why not? Appropriate language, formalities, informalities.
Screaming coyotes.
No, screaming coyotes. Those are just not an appetizer. They're just like it's a little seasoning, a little flair. But informalities and informality, bad, right?
Yeah.
Or not bad, but maybe not the best practice,
right?
And so, speaking of best practices, I wanted to talk about kind of like warning signs, about trainers, and especially when you're going in and trying to find a trainer, or if you're working with a trainer, when it might be maybe it's time to find a new one.
Yeah.
That
was I mean,
I can make it work.
It took you a hop, skip, and a jump, but we got there.
Stream of consciousness works in mysterious ways.
It just kept flowing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's you just go.
I'm glad you didn't stop, because if you would have stopped, that would have been it. You would have tripped and fell over, and then we would have to figure out another way to get back to it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'm a rolling stone.
Yeah. Gathers no moss.
And if you stop, it's hard to get going again.
That's right. So, trainers.
Yeah. So trainers. So what kind of sparked this? Well, one, I was listening to a podcast and they kind of made reference to some of these things. So I was like, all right, that's an interesting kind of concept. And I think because that was sitting at the forefront of my mind as I was working with clients throughout the week, there were just conversations that were popping up that I was like, okay, I'm like, yeah, you don't want to, from clients who are working with people in the past. I'm like, no, you don't really want to do that. And it's probably not good. And it just had me thinking about one, shit that I used to do, that I hopefully have gotten better at. And then two, it was stuff that I've seen other trainers, in other environments do.
Yeah.
Specifically working at Equinox.
Yeah. 24 hours is pretty notorious too.
I've never worked at a 24, so I can't speak on that.
I've seen it. It's knowing what I know now, looking back at it then, I'm like, damn, that's what you went through. Oh, and then I also know of an athlete who stopped CrossFit and went to an LA Fitness or a 24-hour fitness, and she was telling me how her personal trainer was telling her how to do deadlifts. And mind you, he was telling her that she needed to look up towards the sky and arch her neck backwards.
Love it.
She needed to roll her shoulders forward so that they were over the bar.
At this point, I don't know if I believe you.
No, I swear to God.
Because that's
I could tell you off air who it is.
I could tell you. Hold on one second. After many accidental button presses, Eric told me who that was and the story, and that's insane, and I hate it.
Yeah. I hated it when I found out. I told the athlete to come back and work with me, and I will fix them and never ever pay that trainer another $1 ever again.
Dude, some of these gyms are wild because they'll do a lot of sometimes they'll do in-house certifications, and just not do a whole lot of follow-up post that.
Yeah.
Also some of them I know LA Fitness will do this where they'll the salesperson will do the selling of training. Mm-hmm. So the trainer. Equinox does this too, and I hate it.
Yeah.
To a certain degree. But they won't let you like do take care of like the sales, right, from like start to finish. And then they'll also be like very much like regimented in the way that you have to do some of these things.
Yeah.
And I know from a little bit of what I've learned through with LA Fitness is some of it's a little bit predatory in the way that they go about it, because it's like forcefully making you fail.
Yeah.
To kind of like heighten the effect of how much you need them.
Yeah.
Which is terrible practice, in my opinion.
Yeah. I don't know as far as beyond the sale, because my sister used to sell appointments or personal training sessions, and she was just telling me like the goal of the salesman is just to sell. Like, there's no real focus. Like, not that she didn't care, but she was like, I have no control after if I sell it, but I have no control of what they do beyond that. So if they sell like a they'll do like
session
package.
Well, they do like giant packages at LA Fitness too.
Yeah.
It's like 60 or like 120 or something like that. Like they do these wild, like big ass packages.
Yeah.
And then they pay the trainers like shit.
Yeah. you get what you pay for, or well, you get what they paid for.
Yeah. I don't want to like put. I don't want to try and put like young trainers down, because I was 100% in the boat of like having no goddamn clue what I was doing.
Yeah. Oh, we both were.
Yeah, we talked about this before, of like looking back at some of the old stuff and be like, oh my God, well, why?
Yeah.
And how did that not like fail like horrendously? So I don't want to like put them down. So this isn't necessarily. I think where I'm thinking a lot with this is either it's like the new trainer. So if you're a coach or a trainer listening to this, then like here's like in my opinion some like red flag or like warning signs, red flags of like things that you shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And ideally change them. Or if or either you're also looking at somebody who's like in the field for a long time and they're like jaded on the concept, and so they're kind of just like going through the motions.
Right.
And then the other person that could be listening to this would then be the like client side.
Yeah.
Of like, hey,
what to look for.
What to look for.
Right.
In like, or not to look for. Like, yeah.
You want to look for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, hold on, is that the right phrasing?
Yeah. You want to look for these red flags so that you can avoid these specific trainers.
Yes. Yeah. And again, this isn't necessarily, if it's like a new person, this isn't a slight on them.
No.
Because it's just like they don't know yet.
Yeah. This is more of an informative speech or talk on what you should try and avoid while you're learning the system.
Right. Things to change.
Yeah.
Cool. So the first one that I have is not doing an assessment.
And then just jumping straight into like a workout or something.
Going straight into it.
Yes.
That always that bugs me.
Yeah.
Because I know there's a lot of people who do that, and I don't understand how anybody is comfortable how anybody is comfortable to just take somebody into a workout.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think this goes into more so the people who are established as trainers versus new trainers. Because the people who are established as trainers, they have in their mind, they're in their mindset, they're just on a routine. They're like, all right, this is just another client. Let me put them through this workout, get paid for the day, get the fuck out of here.
Well, even new, I mean, I know of new trainers who don't do assessments.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's frustrating because a lot of the courses that most people are going to be taking are going to teach you some form of assessment.
Right.
Because you have to have like a starting point of where to take somebody. I remember at one of my old gyms, they were trying to push this idea of like giving people these like crazy ass hard workouts from the very beginning. It was a CrossFit gym to kind of like exemplify the fact that they're really out of shape.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know that they're not in shape. Like if you walk in, you're like, if I asked you, like, are you in shape? Like, you're going to be pretty confident in saying like, probably not.
Yeah.
Like, or yes, or some variation in between.
Yeah.
But like, I find it, especially knowing what I know now, I find that like such a dangerous concept and such a dangerous practice.
Oh, I agree. I mean, that's why, most should, if they don't, they need to start. CrossFit gyms have that foundations course or beginners classes or whatever you want to call them, right? To establish that
just where they are.
Scale, yeah.
Yeah, right. Because the whole point of the assessment, and there's a bajillion ways that you can do them, but it's to one, see where your client is at, whether just like physically, right? Like, so for me, for example, I do a pretty basic, like just movement screening from that's it from from a consultation side, right? So I take people through like ranges of motion, both active and passive, to see like just how do they move and get an idea of any like limitations that they have, knowing that like if I'm testing somebody in like a squat and I'm watching them like not squat, or there's so many things that can go wrong, but like say it's terrible, like that leads me to go, okay, probably not going to throw a barbell on their back anytime soon.
Yeah.
Or like I do like also do like a balance thing with it. And it's like, okay, you can barely stand on one leg. Now I know that I'm probably not going to be doing any like balance-based work right off the bat. Right. Or I'm going to have to regress it pretty aggressively to like eventually get you to that point.
Yeah.
So like from like an injury preventative standpoint, that's super important. From like an appropriate like goal, like appropriate when we're looking at like goal setting, like you have to have a starting point.
Yeah.
I know some places like when I was at at my old at the gym that I was in Chicago, we used to do we would also throw in like a strength assessment. That was part of it, which I think can be largely okay, dependent.
Yeah, depending on what you use, what you put them through safely.
Yeah. And so a lot of that was like it was machines, which whatever, you can say what you want about it, and I don't necessarily. Eventually, I stopped doing what that was and kind of made my own. Very much client dependent. But at the very least, it was a safe way that I can kind of test a little bit of some like base level strength to see where they're at.
Right. Yeah. I agree with you. Right. Like that's a starting point. You, as we noted way earlier in our career here, is you start somewhere, you develop your own mindset or skill set to grow your athletes. And I can think back to one is where like a good friend of mine who I worked with at Riot, he wanted to get back into working out. And I told him, I was like, all right, cool. I was like, we have to set up a day where I can be at LA Fitness with you so I can watch you move through everything. I spent like an hour and a half with him. Ended up writing program for him for about a month, 2 months. He loved it, right? Like I put him through the first one. I watched everything he was doing. I only gave him stuff he knew how to do. I threw little challenging things at him, like one-legged things, because he could balance, but we just wanted to push it a little more. But I always told him, I was like, hey, if you're ever having trouble with something, either film it or send me the question and I'll send you a video to what you should look at to kind of mimic if I'm not available.
Yeah.
But, you got to start somewhere. You have to assess them. Otherwise, you are putting them at risk as the trainer. They're putting themselves at risk as the client. Your gym is being put at risk.
Oh, yeah. A liability as well. Yeah. It and the assessment technically never stops.
Right.
Also is an important piece to note. You can have somebody come in and like just kill it, right? But depending on the goal and what it is that they're doing, like you're always kind of constantly assessing to see like, because you also have to look at like progressions or regressions depending. So for example, there's a person that I'm working with who from the assessment looked terrible. Like overall movement was not great.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, we really have to push this back. But because of the sport that they do, when I tested some other things, I was like, you are wildly capable in things that you, based off of our assessment, like you shouldn't be able to do, which was really weird to me, which honestly was kind of the first time I've ever seen that. Where like when we ended up doing today, for example, we were doing like an ice skater type of, like not the plyometric, but like a crossover like lunge type of thing.
Oh, like the back step?
Yeah, like where your leg comes down and across.
Yeah.
Like some people will call it like a bowler lunge or a bowler squat or something like that. So we were doing something similar to that today. And I was like, I'm curious to see based off of,
how they can
last
move.
little bit that we've been moving. And I'm like, this is like perfect. And I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Right. So I was like, okay, interesting. Like now this is pushing my brain to go back into like the plan that I wrote up. Cause I was like, okay, there's abilities here, but I know in these other movements, like not so much.
Right.
So like now it's like replanning and reorganizing like the progressions that I have for them to get, to build it up based off of new information that I've been gathering. right? So it's not like a one and done shop, like one stop shop.
Yeah.
Like, you have to keep doing it as you progress, as they progress, I should say.
Right. And then, also it's like you're saying, you're constantly observing, right? They may not tell you that they rolled their ankle the morning of their session going for a jog or a walk.
That's also true.
Yeah, and you'll see them come in and for some reason they're leaning to one side or the other and you're like, huh. So you have to be on, you have to be observant, you have to be like, hey, did you do something funky today? Like, is there a reason why you're leaning to the left or to the right, or you're not hitting depth? Because yesterday we were doing just fine. Like,
oh yeah.
And then you can pull it out of them, but they're not going to tell you if it's something simple like that. But we know, like, you roll your ankle, that's going to screw you up for the rest of the day.
Yeah, it's going to affect your movements in so many ways.
Because your body's hesitant to move, your body's hesitant to use that specific area. It wants to protect it.
Yeah, you protect. It starts compensating. I mean, realistically, every day that I'm like with or working with somebody, the assessment, my like daily assessment begins once they're in line of sight, right? Because for me, because I'm also a fucking weirdo when it comes to like watching people move. It's like I'm watching their gait, I'm watching how they move, I'm watching their hips, their shoulders, like all these things as they like just strut into the door before doing anything. And it is always a fun like magic trick when I'm like, what'd you do to your knee? Or what's going on like that foot? And they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm watching you. I can see you're limping.
Yeah.
And even if it is subtle, and they're just like, what? You goddamn psych. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, right? But it also shows professionalism too, being like, I am obviously paying attention to you and my job. But like from assessments, right? Like from that, like say like an initial assessment of somebody walking in the door for the very first time you're meeting them, like there's so many ways to go about this. Like you can look up, oh my God, what the hell is it called? It's an FMS. There we go. It's a functional movement screen.
Oh,
right. There's like a contraption that you can buy, which is wildly expensive for plastic. It's like $300. It's
Jesus.
Weird. It's super weird. But if you like look up like an FMS screening, right, and you can use that really well to be able to get like a rough idea of people's abilities from like a movement standpoint, right? Because it looks at like overhead squat. It looks like looks at your hip ability. It looks like a balance thing with like it's called an inline lunge. Shoulder range of motion is tested. There's a balance thing that's tested. Like there's a bunch of parts to it to kind of give you at least like some baseline of like, okay, here are some like general deficiencies that you can work on. And then obviously, and then the testing post that when you actually get into any like exercises and movements that's a huge topic of conversation with like so many variables, but at the very least you can start there. Right. Just EXRX, Google it. You'll see like assessment forums. You can it'll give you videos on assessments and stuff. It's a very old website that still exists and I think is still currently being updated, which is amazing. Like a shit ton of free resources, from like training stuff to books to like articles. Like it's awesome. I love it. I still use it today. But that's like a good resource that you can go to, or just YouTube training or a trainer assessment or something like that, at least to get you going. So that at least you have something to start off with.
Yeah, absolutely. You've said, we've noted before, it's very beginners assessments or beginners courses are very important for the rest of their athletic career, no matter the sport.
And then kind of leading next into that one, the other one that I had was like what did I write? It was, so like not focusing on like corrective exercises.
Oh, wait, before we go back, before we move on to corrective exercise, another thing for the assessment, what's also important for the assessment, not just throwing them into the workout, because if you throw them into a hard workout and they fail, you're setting them up for failure to begin with, but that's a whole mentality loss that you lose from your client. They're defeated, they're upset, they're depressed because, I can't work out, or like things start going through their mental, like, we just talked about mental, right? They feel defeated.
Yeah.
No one wants to go to the gym. They're already looking to make their lives better. As a trainer, it's not our job to make their lives worse, to start to show them how pathetic they are.
Yes.
Right? Like, that is not our job. Our job is to move them in the right path, but not by putting them down or having them put themselves down because they couldn't do a workout.
Very good point.
Yeah.
Very worthwhile point to go back to. Let's keep talking on that.
Yeah.
Because like, the mindset is such an important part to the entire process, because people are like, if people are coming in, one, it's already a lot to ask for help. And then two, right, because you can kind of assume some like thinkings behind it, right? Like everything that you just said, like maybe a little bit of lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem, right? Knowing that you couldn't do it yourself type of thing, right? And then on top of that, you're now introducing yourself to or they're introducing themselves to a stranger, right? Which is one already vulnerable, where most people like want to present themselves in the best light. Like we all brush and floss like wild men before we go to the dentist. Yeah. As if the dentist isn't going to be like, you haven't been brushing and flossing.
Yeah. They're going to be like, oh, nice. You did it one time.
You did it today. Yeah. Cool. I can tell because your gums are wildly inflamed.
Yeah.
Right.
Now I'm going to stick a needle in there and scrape everything else out.
Yeah. Right. So people always want to put their best foot forward in like a stranger situation, especially a vulnerable situation.
Right.
And to then like beat them down by like forcibly making sure that they don't succeed. Like that's also not a great way to build a relationship.
No.
In any capacity, because you're, especially if they ever manage to find out that like that was the basis of like their assessment was to make them look bad and feel bad, so that way they would buy from you. If I ever found that out, like I would be like rage type of thing.
Yeah. For sure.
So yeah, I think it is important to keep that stuff in mind as you're talking through people, because you're putting them in a position where they're likely not going to succeed more often than not. And so if you make them feel bad about not succeeding in something that they don't do, like, they're gonna turn it down or like be turned off about it. Right. And then, then that tarnishes their potential for finding somebody else. Right. Because now they're going to have their guard up every single time that they're going to go talk to another trainer or coach or whatever. Yeah. They get trust issues.
Or they're not going to show up, right? And it's like, that okay, too. Like, cool, yeah, you make the money, but now you're a piece of shit who basically scared your client from coming back. You don't care because they signed a contract, so whether they show up or not, you get paid. But it's just like, that's not your job. Your job is not to make money if you're in this line of work. Your job is to be a personal trainer. You are on some sort of level making this a personal experience, which is shared between you and your client, and you both want the positive out of it, not just the positive for your pocket.
Yes, very much so. I mean, get that money, don't get me wrong.
Right.
But don't be an asshole.
There's a reason you got into this line of work, and money wasn't the initial factor.
It's true. Yeah. A lot of people don't get into training being like, I'm going to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. Okay, so then the next one,
moving back forward,
was not focusing on corrective exercises.
Ah, yes.
And I think this is interesting because the basic, and I've talked about how my process works, but the very beginning of like the way that I work is like corrective from the onset. But then even post that, I think you don't have to spend all of your time solely on corrective exercises, because I think there is a balance between a little bit of like giving the client what they want, right? Because they're paying you for something,
right? While
also giving them the thing that they need, right? And more often than not, most people are going to require some sort of corrective movements.
Absolutely.
And that's, and that can be as, most people when they think of corrective exercises, they're like, oh, some banded workouts. Sure, that can be a part of it.
Yeah.
But you can also look at like any mobility-based work is corrective, right? Because what is it? We're correcting for a lack of range of motion or ability to move, which ultimately comes down to like injury prevention and progression, being able to progress. And it's always like, I always found it like interesting when I'm watching people work with clients, and I was guilty of this when I was younger. So don't like younger in trainer, that is, I guess younger in Ryan too, technically speaking, but it was, but people like just pushing through like kind of shit.
Right.
And it's always interesting. Like for me today, not literally today, but actually Wednesday was a good example where I was like, I had my plan and I was like, all right, here's the deal. Like, or I'm going to do this with my client today. And started noticing, I was like, oh, they're having a hard time getting into these positions. So it's like, cool, pause everything that we were doing. And I was like, we're going to get down onto the roller and we're going to do, some T-spine rotations, and we're going to do a couple things to like work the shoulders just a little bit more, like the shoulder blades in particular. And then let's reintroduce the movement in a slightly regressed way. We were doing overhead pressing.
Okay. That's funny because that's the thing that came to my head.
It's one of the most glaringly obvious
Yes.
ones. So, and I was like, all right, we're going to slightly change up the movement that we're going to do. I'm going to change up some of the cues that I was using to be able to, cue them into a better position and better understanding of what we're trying to achieve here. And it was like that. And all of a sudden it was better.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, let's resume where we picked up.
Right.
So, but also at the same time, like I had a guy today that like was essentially session 1, which was where I go over like all of the kind of the deficiencies that they had. And it was like rolling and some of the kind of base like exercises to build up some like capacity. Right. And at one point in time, he's like, man, it's fucking hot in here. And I was like, really? I'm like, cause the AC is set to 72 and he's a big guy.
Yeah.
Like both muscular and like stature. He's tall. And I'm like, yeah, man. I'm like, you're working out right now.
Yeah.
He's like, we're just doing like this band shit. I'm like, uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it's hard. I'm like, don't be fooled by these like tiny yellow bands just because you can throw around a bunch of weight.
Oh, he was even on the yellow band. It wasn't even
this was day 1.
Jesus.
This was day 1 for him.
I remember I underestimated the yellow band too. And
everybody does.
So stupid of me.
It's the most humbling thing. Because you'll sit there and you're like, I'm pretty sure I can rip this in half. And you're like, yeah, you probably can.
Yeah, but do it for 5 minutes.
But now, go through a little bit of a workout.
Yeah,
and that was only after just the glute stuff.
Oh,
like
wow.
That wasn't even into the rest of the stuff that we had to cover for today.
Yeah.
And so like he was like sweating all over the place. It was so funny.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I mean, like we did it. I mean, this wasn't even like the full workouts. Like we didn't even get into any of the training yet.
Right.
And he's like, fuck, man. I'm like, I'm beat. Like, I feel like I'm going to be sore from this. I was like, yes, you will. To a certain, like, you will be from this a little bit, which will lead to another point later on. But that happens. Like, clients will come in. Stop me at any point too. But clients can come in too, and like, you might have to throw out your plan for the day and be like, today is going to be purely corrective because of something that happened.
Yeah.
I had a lady that was going on a trip, and she like out of the blue just like throws her back out.
Jeez, and like during the session?
No. This was outside of the session.
Oh.
And she calls me and she's like, hey, did this? I'm gonna have to like cancel. I was like, hold on. I'm like, no. I'm like, don't cancel.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on in. I'm like, let's see what's going on. I'm like, and if it's something that we can work with, like, let's work on it.
Yeah. Let's correct it. Let's analyze it and correct it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, let's see if we can make some adjustments here.
Yeah.
And so thankfully it was nothing crazy, right? She essentially just pulled a muscle. And at least from my assessment,
I've done that one.
We've all been there. And she just kind of trained something. And so I was like, cool. I was like, so like we did a bunch of work on the table, eventually got her up, and we had like her like casually riding a bike. We had her moving just a little bit, and she walked out being like, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, perfect. Awesome. I'm like, that's my job.
Yeah.
I was like, not everything has to be like challenging workout days.
We don't have to do a workout. This is going to be enough of a workout.
Yeah. And she was still like, she still left feeling accomplished. Like she did something.
Yeah. And probably relieved from her midday accident or whatever had happened.
Yeah. She felt a lot better because she was nervous because like later that week, she was leaving to go on vacation for 2 weeks.
Oh man, that would have sucked.
So she was also panicking at the idea of like, I'm not going to be able to go.
Bedridden?
Yeah. Like I'm not going to be able to handle like a 12-hour flight.
No.
Like I'm not going to be able to do all of these things. And I was like, don't worry, girl. I'm like, I got you. Like we'll solve this together.
That's it. So now that you're saying that, bringing that up, I need to remind myself to go get some bands for when I'm in Vegas, because like I'm going to be sitting doing teleprompting for 10 days. Like I need some. I mean, I know they have like their gyms, but I don't want to be at a hotel gym right now. Like I'd rather work out in my room. Like have bands, be able to do like squats, push-ups, sit-ups, and all lunges and whatnot. But like the band workouts are still. I mean, I get sweaty on those, and I'll have the AC at 72 also. Like,
yeah, man. I mean, the correctives doesn't imply easy. And I think that's an important note to make, is that like they can still be challenging.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Within reason, of course.
If you're doing them right and you're doing them with intention,
it's hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll always kind of go back to this, like, this is always the analogy that I have when people kind of start to scoff at like some of the initial things that I do with people, is in the before times, we went and did some work with the U.S. Army, kind of like over like a week or so, and we did like a bunch of assessments and like stuff with some of their athletes. And one of the things that we did was like we kind of showed people how to use like their shoulders. Mm-hmm. And so there were some like professional like strong men, strong women, and watching them do like these band exercises, knowing that they can squat like 600 pounds, or like they can my favorite was one of the guys. Yeah, like I watched him press like the high 200s,
Jesus,
like military press. It was so stupid. And then threw a 10-pound dumbbell in his hand and like was like really intentional about like pressing, and like watching this guy shake with like a 10-pound weight. And I was like, this should feel very heavy. He's like, what is happening right now? I'm like, welcome to your body, my friend.
Welcome to using the right mechanics.
It's amazing that you're not broken more.
Yeah.
So knowing that like corrective exercises can be something that you can like begin with from the onset to like get them going, or it can also be something that can be integrated within with the training day. Mm-hmm. I mean, there was a guy that I knew at my old health club that like that's all he did. Like his whole thing was like about like corrective exercises.
Yeah.
And he killed it.
Yeah.
Crushed it. And he had really good success with all of his clients, like because ultimately it really laid down a strong foundation for their ability. So that way when either he would pass them off to somebody else, or to some of them he would continue to take on and do like more of like the traditional training type of stuff. But like they had such a good foundation of like movement and capacity to move, mm-hmm. that like he was like, yeah, I can do whatever I want, whether it's like grandma or like, an athlete.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Speaking strictly to that corrective issue, right? There's one thing that my cousin Jeff told me, and then
Jeff.
Yeah, my cousin Jeff. And very similarly, what John Wellborn teaches is shitty practice makes shitty performance. So if you don't correct your shitty practice or your practice, if you don't correct your shitty form in practice, you'll have the same shitty form in performance.
Yeah, what's the phrase he says? Because it's like perfect.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's like you fall back onto the standards at which you train, or something like that. It's a very like philosophical concept.
He says it that way, then
something like that.
My cousin Jeff says it the other way, the more vulgar way.
Yeah,
although John Wellborn's known to be vulgar, so it's
just a little bit.
Yeah, not to take that away from him.
But just take it away from him.
Yeah.
No, but that's 100% on. Like if you practice, and that's something too that I try and like instill in some of the like the athletes that I work with, specifically the actual athletes.
Yeah.
Is like it's like something that you fall to the level of your training or something like that.
It's something very close to that.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
But anyway, but the athletes that I do work with, where I'm like this is not competition right now. Like this is practice. We are practicing your ability to move. We are training you to move better from like within the gym, so that way when you go to the actual practice for your sport, you have a better ability to move and be able to a better ability to actually practice. So that way when you do go and compete, right, like you have essentially 2 layers of defense to be able to perform at like your best.
Right.
And that like that's the goal ultimately. So practice literally can make perfect practice makes perfect, I should say.
Yes.
Or attempted perfect practice. Because nothing's technically perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
It can always be improved on.
Everything can be improved on.
Yeah.
Okay. So then this kind of plays into a little bit of what I was saying earlier. Feeling worse after your workout. And this,
like the athlete?
Yeah. So not in the sense of like hurt. And I guess the other part to it too is also kind of like gauging your success based off of like how sore you are. So they kind of go hand in hand, right? Like what do you get, or what do you gain by walking out of the gym feeling like dog shit?
What do you gain?
Yeah.
A fucking trip to the hospital.
Well, not in the sense of like injury or sickness.
No. What you gain is unnecessary rest days.
Yeah.
Or unneeded rest days.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. Right? Like
not even rest. Sorry. Recovery. Because at that point, a rest day, you want to take a rest day. But if you're walking out of the gym feeling like you got fucking
like you hit by a car,
smashed by a fucking big rig, yeah, you're gonna need a recovery day, not a rest day.
And you should probably also say recovery days.
Days, plural, right?
Yeah, more often than not.
Yeah,
right. Because like, I mean, outside of, we won't go too deep into the physiology here, but like, your body can only handle to a certain, like, depending on where you're at, like, well, it doesn't matter, right? Your body can only handle so much, right? And your fitness level will kind of dictate the amount of whatever that is.
Yeah.
But for like the lay person, which most trainers are going to be working for, like if you're beating them into the ground, you're forcing them into very likely forcing them into being incredibly sore, and like. Soreness, it will happen, right? It is
especially for beginners. Especially for beginners.
Yes,
it's going to be a new feeling for them.
Yeah, and I think it's an easier thing to fall into because from like the trainer side, you might not know where they lie, and so with that being said, I always try and caution the do less, knowing that you can then do more later, because if I beat somebody into the ground, which is, by the way, so easy to do. Yeah. Right? Like, that's not an accomplishment to be like, I have the hard workouts. Yeah. Everybody can make a really fucking hard workout. It's not that hard. It's not difficult.
It's stupid.
If anything, it's harder to not do that.
Right. To program correctly.
Yes. Yeah. To like pull the reins back a little bit, because if I beat somebody on the floor, then odds are they're going to be crazy sore. So then, like, okay, what are they going to be doing, like, the following days? Probably nothing. Like, and most people's intention after when they're like, man, I'm sore today, they tried not to do anything. Yeah. Which only then continues to perpetuate their soreness because they're not moving.
Yeah, they need to move.
Right? And so then they're likely not going to do any more training, right? So then they're pushing the recovery off longer, right? You start getting these, like, diminishing returns on the initial investment of, like, training that you just put in. So you're kind of like, you're building them, you're breaking them down to a point that they can't recover from, i.e. this like in excess soreness. And now the body is not even trying to necessarily build itself up. It's trying to repair itself because it's damaged. So like, what success comes of that other than bragging rights that you have a really hard workout? And like, yeah, like unless you have like a lot of masochistic clients, I guess if that's your kink, then go for it.
CrossFitters?
CrossFitters is a perfect example of this nonsense.
I can't. I mean, I don't say anything out loud, but when I see people do a workout and they post the program and I look at the program and I know the athlete, I'm like, you're proud that you spent 30 minutes beating the shit out of yourself?
Well, I don't want to put this onto the client.
Right.
Because they shouldn't know to a certain degree.
For the most part.
More often than not, they're not going to know. Right. Especially going into like a group class, like it's a room full of people who don't know better.
Yeah, they're there to enjoy themselves with friends and work out.
Yeah, right. They're under the guise.
You're right.
Or the understanding of like the person who's
they're being guided. They trust the person that's guiding them.
Yes. Yep. That because I think I just don't think it's appropriate. Not saying that you're doing this. Yeah. But just in general. I just don't think it's appropriate to like put the onus on the client, or the client, the athlete, the gym member, whatever you want to call them.
Well, we said that a couple episodes ago. It's not necessarily the athlete's fault, or the blame doesn't lie on them.
Yeah. Because you can't expect them to know.
Right.
Some people do, which is awesome. Like I love when they come in because I was like, sweet, I get to actually prove myself, a little bit more.
Yeah, I like the ones who are looking for like, okay, what do you have specifically planned for today? It's like, well, let me treat you to something fun.
Yeah, ask questions. I love that stuff. Yeah. But like again, like you don't go into a doctor's office, people don't go into doctor's offices and expecting like patients to have an understanding of what the hell's about to happen.
Yeah. I want the outcome of the lollipop.
Yeah, I'm here for those goddamn suckers.
That is all I'm here for. Whatever you got to do, shots, X-rays, whatever. I want the lollipop at the end. If I don't get the lollipop, I'm not coming back.
What was your favorite for like was it Dum Dums?
Dum Dums, dude. I love blue raspberry.
Blue raspberry?
Yeah,
I was a butterscotch guy.
So I don't like butterscotch in general. I've never liked butterscotch.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's
I won't put it down, but I just don't like the taste.
I won't put it down.
Yeah. I normally put things down, but I won't put butterscotch down because there's a lot of people I know that love butterscotch.
I don't know what it is. like literally just the concept of butterscotch. I have no concept of what that is.
Yeah.
All I know is that on the package, I remember seeing it and be like, chocolate? Sign me up. I was like, this isn't chocolate, but I'm not mad about it either.
Right.
So I'm like, all right. That was always whenever we would go to the doctor when I was younger, I'd like sift through the bowl.
Yeah.
I was like, where's the butterscotch? I'm like,
So,
it's the only one I want.
Blue raspberry is always, for the longest time, it's been my favorite flavor of Dum Dum, Jolly Rancher, Sour Warhead, like those sour twists or whatever they were,
Like the Twizzler knockoff ones?
like
or the like
I know,
like the silly string or not silly
like,
string.
They're
like
called like zippies or something.
Yeah, something with a Z.
Yeah, so like I've always liked those, but I've always liked blue raspberry for some reason. Even though it's not a real flavor, but like blue raspberry, I don't know what it is about blue raspberry. I just love blue raspberry. Ices, blue raspberry ices. I love blue raspberry ices. Yeah.
Hey, man.
I don't know what it is.
Whatever floats your boat.
Seriously.
Tickles that pickle.
God, blue raspberry tickle it.
It did. Boy, does it tickle. But yeah, so I like gauging. So thing that brought this up, right? Client of mine came in and it was kind of early on into our process.
Yeah.
And so we were doing very basic stuff, and they are very much very athletic for kind of the sport that they partake in. And I was like, okay, I'm like, I made an assumption that they probably have like a higher ability, and hey, I still make faults, like I'll admit it. So what I kind of didn't fully account for was their lack of like active exercise, in the sense of like some sort of like weight training.
Right.
Because their sport is very active. And they also do a lot of like outside activities as well. So like play a couple other sports like rec sport and stuff. So
sport soccer?
No.
Oh. I was just trying to guess by what you were saying.
Yeah, you're not going to guess it.
Is it the Jai-Lai?
Jai-Lai?
Jai-Lai.
No, it's not.
Damn.
I wish.
Could you imagine a Jai-Lai athlete like just yoked?
Just yoked?
Oh my God.
Yeah. That'd be a fun one. That'd be a fun one to try and figure out. Like, because I don't know enough about the sport.
Yeah.
For this person in particular, I had to watch a lot because I was like, I can understand conceptually like what the demands of the sport are. I'm like, but I've never really watched it. So I had to I watch a bunch of video because I was like, what do they have to do?
Yeah.
Also because I didn't know the positions. It's weird. I'll explain later. But anyway, point is, and so like they came in like a couple days later after one of the workouts, and they were just like, ooh, like I'm beat.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit.
Right.
I'm like, oh, too much. And they're like, no, it's okay. Like it's a good soreness. I was like, no, I understand. I'm like, I understand.
Yeah.
Like,
but if the first words out of your mouth are like, oh, right, like,
yeah,
I'm sore from 2 days ago. Like, okay, then I gotta do
exactly.
I gotta do something. We're gonna do active recovery day. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's exactly what it was. And I was like, okay, and because they were trying to be like, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's like it was a good workout. I was like, no, I understand. Like you feel good, you feel accomplished. Like soreness to a certain degree is an inevitability at some point in time. Like, as we continue to progress, we're gonna have to test and see like where you lie. But I was like, but it was too much for you.
Yeah.
And like you're not crippled, which is great, but you're also struggling, right? It kind of limited some of your like the activities that you want to partake in, and I'm like, that's not what I'm after. So I'm like, so I need to make some adjustments. We're gonna like take a little bit of some of the volume down because I think we used a 10-pound weight. That was the extent of the weight that was touched.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it was just body weight. And I was like, okay. I'm like, we just did too much. So I'm like, we're gonna take it down a little bit, build you back up. I'm like, no worries. And they were thankfully they're very understanding of like the concepts and or have a very firm understanding of the concepts. So they were just like, okay, that makes sense. I get where you're coming from that.
Yeah.
And they were just like, but we're still gonna like work, right? I was like, of course.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't worry, you're still gonna hate me.
Yeah.
So we're good to go. But I think that's like an important conversation to know that like kind of like the previous lady with her back injury, like more often than like, or not more often, but like my goal is to have people walk out feeling like they worked, but also feeling good about them leaving.
Right.
They feel mentally better. Physically, they're like, yeah, I'm a little tired, but like I feel like I did something.
An all around accomplishment for the day.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Especially with a lot of people who work out in the morning, like that really can set a really good tone.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Right. Like, love him or hate him, Jordan Peterson. one of the things that he like talks about in like one of the very first things he talks about, which I might have said before, I don't know, was make your bed. Right. And it's a very simple concept to say like, okay, your goal, through the day, like if the first thing that you do is you wake up and get out of bed, make your bed. And that's like, you have accomplished a task to like set the tone for the day of doing shit.
Yeah.
And so, this person in particular is an early client, and it sets the day perfectly for them for the rest of it. So they're like, okay, I got a good workout in. I feel good. I have the energy to be able to continue to do like my job. As well as to be able to then partake in the activities that they want to do, like throughout the day or the week, right? So, and especially today, they even were like, we had practice last night, and they're like, she's like, I know we haven't really done a whole lot, but like, I already feel better. Like, I feel that my fitness is already better than the people that I'm like, I compete against or with. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
It's like fucking success. Right.
Going back to that bed thing, right? I remember we were talking about that probably like a month or two ago, a couple episodes ago, right? It's funny. I started doing that after you said it, and I felt more active in my day the days I made my bed versus the days I did not make my bed first thing in the morning, right? So like, this week has been a week, right?
Yes, it has.
And I haven't made my bed all week until after I get home. Right. And because I'll walk in, I'll look at it and be like, fuck. Right. Then I'll pull the sheets. I'll pull it across. Right. But by then I'm drained. Like my day's just like, you're 6 hours in. You're like, I don't want to do goddamn thing. Right.
Yeah.
But the previous week, it was still a week. Like it's still a hell of week from hell. But I made my bed, and every day was assertive. Like, all right, cool. Bed's made. Let's go. Walk Frankie. Let's go. Make breakfast. Let's go.
Let's go.
Set up appointments. Let's go. Do designs. Like everything felt accomplishable. Everything felt doable for the day or for whatever I had planned for that day, versus this week where I didn't make my bed till the afternoon. I'm like sluggish, just run down, beat up. I'm like, what is going on? And so now that you bring that back up, I'm like, yeah, that's what it's been roughly, right? There's other factors, but
for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the idea of accomplishing. It's having a task, accomplishing it, or finishing it, and like check it. It's like the checking a box, right? You're just like, I did some shit, right? And it does create like motivation to continue to do things.
Yeah.
And everyone's gonna be different, and also just put it out there. I don't make the bed because I think it's a waste of time because I'm just gonna mess it up later.
Right.
And other than me and Marissa, like nobody should be in our bedroom.
Yeah.
So I don't care what it looks like.
Yeah.
Like I sleep in it. We're good. So, but just as an aside, but the idea is like you have set tasks, and then you accomplish said tasks, and therefore like sets the tone.
Yeah.
So especially from like a workout, right? That's an hour's worth of your time.
Yeah.
To like, or at least for me or with me, to then put something into play to like set a positive tone for the rest of the day. Like that's super important.
Yeah.
That's super important. Speaking of mindset, like we said earlier.
Yeah, you want to feel accomplished before you go to work, or, if the workout's the first thing you do in the day, you want to feel accomplished. You want to walk out of there going, yeah, fuck yeah, I killed that. I'm a little tired. I'm a little sore, but I can carry on through the rest of my day, go home, rest, do it again tomorrow.
Well, you shouldn't. Hopefully you're not sore immediately after the workout. Because we got some serious problems if that's the case.
Ryan, you're programming too goddamn much.
You're doing too much. Has that phrase died yet?
Doing too much?
Yeah.
Nah.
Just extra. I think that's what it turned into.
Extra?
Yeah.
Yeah. You being extra.
Being extra.
God, I hate that.
Slang.
Stupid.
It all comes back.
No.
Full circle.
I hate it.
I hate it.
Let it die.
Speaking of things to be let die.
Fanny packs.
Showing up late.
Oh.
And this is definitely from the client. Well, from the trainer side.
Yeah.
Nothing makes me more mad.
I know. You're always so irked by that.
And like in a professional sense, I'm great at this.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you were to even ask like Corey, I think I've been late once, at least from what he can recall.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's also just it's a very much a very professional courtesy where somebody is like, they're buying obviously my expertise. Well, maybe not obviously to some, but like buying my expertise, but they're also buying my time.
Yeah.
And so I value my time, and
right.
I also then in turn value their time as well.
Absolutely.
So I will like, and you've probably heard me say this before. Like if you're on time, you're late.
Yeah.
And then, holy shit, do I believe in that for the most part. My personal life, I tend to be pretty terrible at time management. And if anybody knows me, they know that to be very true. And if pretty much at this point, if I say I'm going to be there at a certain time, just throw 30 minutes on and I'll probably be there at that point.
That was us last week.
Yeah, it's bad. It's because I put work really far ahead of a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so like something will pop up and I'm like, God, I just have to do this.
Ryan was like, I'll be there at 5:30. I was like, all right, cool. I'll see you at 6. He's like, rude, but also true.
Rude, but not wrong. But anyway, right. But if it's like for people's time, I try my best. But like, especially from a client side, like
right.
I am there waiting for them.
Yeah. It shouldn't be the other way around.
1000% should not be the other way around. And that's like, if I ever somehow own a place, and like I have people working under me in this regard, like that's like arguably terminatable offense.
Yeah.
Terminatable.
That's rule number 1.
Terminatable. Is that a word?
You're a terminator.
You get on time.
Yeah. Be on time.
It's a fireable offense in my eyes.
There you go.
Like that should never happen. And I understand there's going to be extenuating circumstances, right? Shit sometimes happens.
Right.
Like I've been late to appointments because I've had a flat tire.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about that.
Right.
So like, and thankfully because I'm always on time.
Yeah.
For my clients, they're really accepting of stuff like that. Where I'm like, hey, I'm really sorry this is going to happen. And they're like, bro, I'm late all of the time for you.
Right.
Like I can give you 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. I'll push everybody else back. Like we're good. But like that, you just can't, that cannot happen.
Yeah.
Ever.
For
in my
sure.
opinion.
Yeah. I at that point, it's poor time management because, if you have this plan for the day, you should plan the hour. So if you're on the half hour, if you have your appointment set for the half hour, you should be planning for that hour already. So if your appointment's at 4:30, you should be telling yourself, I have a window between 4 and 4:15 to get to where I need to get. So that allows me 15 minutes of the bare minimum to set up for my client. And if you do end up pushing that, you're like, okay, shit. Like, yes, I'm pushing it close, right? I'm more on the on time side, but you're still going to show up before them or at the same time so that you don't look that bad.
Yeah.
Pulling up after them waiting for you, after they've had a long ass day. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Or early morning. Right?
Yeah. Or early morning.
And
definitely early. There's no excuse there's no excuse when it comes to time management early morning. Outside of extreme circumstances, sure. But if you didn't set your alarm or if you slept through your alarm or if you just wanted an extra 5 minutes to sleep, that's on you.
Yes. Again, fireable offense in my opinion.
We're saying this now. I'm probably going to be the first one fired out of your facility.
You are? No, I don't foresee that. But it is like
I'll live there probably.
It really just is. It's such a respect.
Yes.
That word gets thrown around a lot, but I think it is very much like a respect thing because you're one, respecting your time, but even more importantly to this and to a certain regard, you're respecting your client's time. Like they're here for this hour.
Yeah.
Like you have to be there for that. It's not like you have to be like 45 minutes early. Like if it happens, cool, I guess. Like you get a lot of time to do whatever else you need to do, but like, man, don't stroll in the door. If you can, you shouldn't stroll in the door with them. Mm-hmm. Ever. Find a back door. Yeah. You run around and go to different entrance. Like something to be like, oh, hey, didn't see you there.
Unless they show up 15 minutes early when you show up 15 minutes early.
Then that's fine.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's been plenty of times where I've been like I show up and I'm like going to eat breakfast or something. Because at the very bare minimum, and for me, I try to be at least about a half hour early.
Yeah.
Especially for like first appointments of the day. If not earlier, like I'll try at least an hour because then it allows me to kind of like set my day, get every like random shit cleaned up or whatever I have to do, and not have to like stress about it later, answer calls or emails or whatever. But it, there's been plenty of times where like I've been early and so has this other person, and I'm just like, hey, like, and most people are cool. They're like, hey, I'm really early. Like my last guy today, super like showed up like 25 minutes early. For no reason, like no reason whatsoever. And he's like, I'm really early. I was like, all good, man. I'm like, we want to just start now? And he's like, can we? I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, I'm here. You're here. Like, I'm just doing some kind of monotonous work at the moment.
Right.
I'm like, it's not important. And he's like, sweet. Right. And so it allowed me to like It allowed me actually to spend a little extra time on them, to be able to like go through a little bit more in depth of some of the things that I thought was like very important for them.
Yeah.
Right. So it just gave me some more leeway, because I am very long-winded, if you haven't noticed.
Really?
I know, right?
You haven't taken a breath yet.
I'm just very good at masking it. I can I can talk as I breathe in and out.
Yeah, you're a singer.
Obviously. But yeah, be on fucking time.
Yeah, be on time.
The other one that I have is I was like I think like the technique one. I think we've probably beaten that one to death at this point.
At this point, that should go without saying.
Yeah, we understand that.
Yeah, as a coach or personal trainer, you should be going over technique well before you start hammering them with loads.
Yes,
loads. There you go. I mean, PVC technique or just body mechanic technique, like training bar technique. Before you actually give them something heavy,
or as well as correcting them while they're doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like I don't think I've ever run into a situation where I can't give some form of a coaching cue in somebody's movement.
Yeah.
And there's a certain point, right, where people, if you're doing your job well, they're going to get really, really good.
Yeah.
Right. And then it turns into like the nuance, right? The minor details of
you're getting nitpicky and you're like, hey, turn your big toe a millimeter to the right. So your whole foot is in line. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So like there's a guy that I work with, and it's an Olympic weightlifter. And so like overall movement, really good, like really good. And he laughs because I was watching some videos before we started up today, from his lifting, and I was like, okay, here's something we gotta do. And so like had him set up, and I was like, I need you to like adjust your wrists.
Yeah.
And he was just like, you serious? I'm like, uh-huh. I'm like, I know it sounds weird. I'm like, but everything else at the moment, like where we're at, like it's not perfect, but you're working on it, right?
Yeah.
So I don't need to beat a dead horse for this. I was like, but let's pay attention to some of the minor things that can also have like an overall impact.
Yeah.
I was like, so we're going to work on keeping your wrist straight.
Yeah.
Right? And it was like, okay, like perfect.
Yeah.
Right. So like there's very rarely ever a point where you're not going to get coaching in some capacity.
No, for sure. I mean, my experience with it is like I have an athlete who's a very efficient weightlifter, and they do almost everything correct, right? There's very little that I need to focus in on. Like, I don't have to watch them. When I do watch them, I get nitpicky because I'm like, okay, I want you to bring your thumbs in to the first groove versus being outside of the groove, right?
Yeah.
That changes enough. Oddly enough, funny enough, it changes the power output for it.
Yeah.
It had a better stance, had a better alignment. Everything just works smoothly. It's like, cool. And they were like, how did you notice that? And I was like, honestly, I was just playing with something just to see if it worked, and it worked. So,
yeah. There's always that fun, like that weird, like evil, not even evil genius, but just like stroke of genius that pops up where you're like, I wonder if this thing's a thing. And they're just like, oh my God, that feels so much better.
Yeah.
And you're like, I planned that.
I had another athlete who's a coach. She's well learned. She's got, I think we've been coaching the same amount, 7 years or so. And her biggest gripe to me was nobody coached her after they found out she was a coach. And I was like, coaches are my favorite people to coach because nobody coaches them. So there's always something to look at, something to help them critique. And her foot, every time she either squatted or did a snatch or a clean and went to the catch, the lift off, she would rotate one of her feet out. The other one was already out. So she would rotate one of her feet out and then jump. So I told her, I was like, your right foot, before you go, turn it out slightly.
Yeah.
Let it sit in its natural position. She's like, what do you mean? So I filmed it. And I showed her, I was like, look, your heel and foot roll onto the side of your foot, and then you move your toe, and then you explode. I was like, your left foot doesn't do that because it's in its natural position. Your right foot, I don't know, it may be a calf issue, it might be ankle mobility, right? Whatever it is, I want you to start with your foot just slightly turned out. I'm going to record it. Didn't move. I mean, she went to her catch, right? Obviously, the foot's going to move in the catch position, but there was no roll. There was no twist in the takeoff. And she was like, no one's ever said that. I was like, well,
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep at it.
You keep doing you.
Yeah.
No, that's right. And at a high level or higher level, things become very nuanced and feel very nitpicky. Mm-hmm. But like sometimes those little changes give you just a little bit of a better feeling or a little bit of better control or connection to whatever it is that you're trying to do.
Well, even you with me, like you'll yell at me across the room because if I get any lazy, you'll be like, finish moving up, or you'll yell at something stupid at me, and I'm like, oh, God damn it.
I did that today. I don't know if you heard me.
No, I don't think I heard you.
Yeah, the music was going.
Yeah.
It was. I was just telling you, I was like straight up.
Oh, for the clean,
you're muting your hip a little bit.
Yeah, I was getting tired.
That's fair. you were moving today.
Yeah.
So no worries.
I was getting tired. God. Yeah, I actually put weight on the bar today.
Watch out.
Actual weight.
And then the last two that I had on this were either trying to be the motivational trainer.
Oh, the cheerleader?
Or the cheerleader.
Oh, either one.
Yeah. I kind of lump them into just their personality.
I can't stand cheerleaders.
I
can't stand cheerleaders. They're very much, as cheerleaders go, on the sideline, not correcting and just motivating.
Yeah.
Just, you got it. Yeah, you can do it. It looks like shit, but you do you.
Looking great. Everything.
I hate that so much. Like, I think that's one of the biggest gripes I got was like, you don't cheer people on. And I go, no, because I'm too focused on making sure they're doing it properly. Like, I'm focusing in on technique. I want to make sure that they're, whatever it is moving the right way. I don't give a fuck I don't give a fuck about time. I don't give a fuck about score. I care about proper mechanics and proper movement.
Yeah. Did you do it well? And do you did you accomplish something?
Did you not hurt yourself today? Nice.
That's a good one. That's a good starting point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get the same thing. Right. I know I tend to be a little bit more animated here.
Yeah.
But more often than not, like when I'm coaching, like I'll be talkative during like rest times and stuff, but like I'm arguably low energy.
No, we're very mad scientist brain when they're performing because our vision, our observation is like we're dissecting every little movement that goes and we're moving on to the next athlete. Dissecting. Okay, good. Hold on. Let me go up to this one, fix this real quick or adjust it real quick. Cool. Watch them again. Do they perform it right? No. Okay. Let's readjust. Let's reassess. Okay. Did it? Okay, cool. Move on or move back. Like I don't have time to tell you, yeah, good job, guy. Like I don't care. I don't care. Do it right.
I think it's for me too. It's also that's not my personality.
Yeah,
like I'm not that person, and to turn that on, like there's times right. I get excited. I'm all pumped and shit.
Yes,
and I'll start really cheering people on. But that's also kind of we talked about last time. That takes a lot of effort, like a lot of energy out of me.
Yeah,
and so it's my kind of quietness is more so my reservation of energy. Because if I get way too animated, then I ruin the experience and kind of my ability to be personable later on in the day for other clients that I have.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm always probably one of the more quiet coaches from a CrossFit class, and definitely quieter. I'm talkative.
Yeah.
But when I'm doing personal training,
yeah,
so I was I can't motivate you. Don't come to me for the external motivation. Where for me, I try and teach people to be motivated themselves.
Yeah.
I think also too sometimes with the cheerleader trainer or the cheerleader coach is sometimes people that's not them, right? You can only you can only motivate somebody through externally for so long.
Yeah. You can only say so many things to motivate them too.
Yeah.
You can only say let's go so many times.
Yeah. There's only so many variations of that phrase. But that shtick also gets old.
Yeah. I hate hearing it.
I'm very annoyed by it.
I think so. I think I've only had one coach who was overly cheerleading, but they also had that Energizer bunny energy to do it while making corrections. So I applaud them, right? You have that energy, you have the capability to make corrections or adjustments and continue moving throughout the day with it. That's awesome. That's impressive. But for the most part, coaches I've had are very stoic in nature, reserved. They're like I'm not going to compliment you on something you should be doing naturally. And I kind of taking that persona too. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's very asshole-ish. But I'm not going to compliment you on, say a 65, 75%, right? You should be doing that. That's your warm up. Or like if I have it scheduled for something higher, like I'm not going to cheer you on until we get to those big numbers where it's like, okay, now you need focus all the way, but it's like now it's heavier. Now the risk is higher. Like that's where I'm like, all right, now I'm here. I'm on your side. I'm in your grill, like making sure you're doing everything right. If you need me to yell at you, I'll yell at you. Like that's that reservation energy. Yeah. Where it's like now we're doing something extreme or dangerous in comparison, right? High risk, high reward, right? This is where that energy comes in. But I'm not gonna, it's like, okay, cool. You're doing 5 double unders. Hey. After the workout, I've never done double unders before. Hey, good fucking job on those 5. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah. 100%. Right? Like I feel like I tend to match people's excitement.
Yeah.
Or like mimic that a lot, right? So like if it's in the middle of a workout something and they've accomplished something big, or something new or whatever, and they're proud, I'm like, you better believe I'm going to be proud, way prouder, just by energy levels.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to match you and then some.
Yeah.
Right. Just to because I get excited about shit like that. But like you're saying, I think there is a point too where, like if you do it all of the time, it starts to lose its meaning to a certain degree.
100%.
So then when the time is right, then it's like, okay, I'm amped. Let's get you amped.
Yeah.
Because we're about to do something big.
Yeah.
Or it's something meaningful or whatever the
it's gonna
case
be
is.
Yeah, meaningful to both of us. Like
and it doesn't have to be like, kind of in your example, you were talking about like a heavy lift.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that.
No, it could be 5 double unders.
It could be a fucking box jump.
Yeah.
Right?
I love watching people get their first box jumps.
Oh,
I
yes.
love it.
That's awesome.
The confidence that they have to have, getting over the fear of hitting their shin, tripping, eating shit. The confidence that you see, the excitement, the joy you see when they land and they stand up.
You're like,
oh man, that is so much fun.
Goose pimples.
I had an athlete, Rosie. I hope she listens to this. Like she got her first box jump. We started with 25-pound. No, we started with 25-pound plates.
Yeah.
And I stacked them. She's like, no. So I took them off, and then I would stack like 15s, but at the same height, and be like, oh, it's less weight, right? It's like, so it's shorter, in quotes, right? So she would go confident, and then so we finally got up to the height of the box. But I was like, Rosie, we're not going to jump on the box. She's like, why is the box out? I was like, that's for you to see it. We're still jumping on plates, girl.
Yeah,
we're still going to jump on plates. She was jumping on plates, same height as the box, same height as the box, same height as the box. I was like, all right, cool. She's like, do you want me to try it? I was like, no, we'll do it next week. I want her. I want her that anticipation. I want her to be like, no, I want this, because then that's that confidence builder. It's like, well, if I'm doing it at this height, I can do it at this height, right? And I'm like, no, we'll do it next week. Don't worry about it. Like super tease, right? So then it comes back next week. She's like, I think I'm ready. I was like, if you're ready, grab the box. She grabs the box. No, I'm not ready. I want to warm up. I was like, okay, so we went through the plate stacking again, all the way to the same height. And I was like, Rosie, whenever you're ready, dude. Like, I'm not gonna pressure you. The plates are here, the box is here, whatever you want to do. This girl jumps up. She's like, biggie. I did it. Like that was one of my favorite accomplishments as a coach, is watching her do that.
Dude, that shit's awesome.
Yeah,
those are the highlight reels, man.
Fuck yeah,
that's what makes the job worth it. Is like stuff like that. But yes, right. So it doesn't have to be like some big monstrous like historical event for them.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be a 400-pound PR.
Yeah. It can be very simple.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the one thing that I like, not bugs me in the sense that, like I'm disturbed by it, but what bugs me is like when people are downplaying their success. Like, like somebody who will tell me like, I've only been able to do 5 double unders, right? And they get through the workout and they're like, I did 8 consistently. And I was like, or like they'll say, oh, I did, like I'll count it out and I'm like, hey, you hit 8. And like, oh, it's nothing. I'm like, no, you fucking hit 8. Like, be happy about that.
That's better.
Yeah, that's way better.
You just got better.
Yeah. So that like bugs me, but not, not to the point where like I'm upset. It's just like, come on, like I'm happy for you on getting 3 more. That's a huge PR for you. Yeah, like
that's 150% improvement.
Yeah, we've been trying to do this for weeks. Like,
yeah, dude. Exactly. Like sweat those small things too.
Yeah.
Again, something that I've recently said. Right. Well, I'm like, you got to sweat the small stuff. Like, be excited about those like minor wins, because that's like motivation is a fleeting thing.
Yeah.
Right. And we've all experienced that idea, and that's not just in exercise. Right.
No.
We've been motivated. We're like, oh, I'm motivated to do some work. I'm motivated to read a book or whatever.
I'm motivated to get a new job.
Like whatever it might be. And then like as time progresses, motivation wanes.
Yeah.
Right. And then at a certain point, you're not motivated to do it anymore. So like to live, if you're a trainer, basing your persona and your ability off of the concept of motivation, like that's a very fleeting experience that like will not last.
Yeah.
And you can, like we were talking about earlier, right? You can only motivate so much. So it's like, it's one of those, like, it's like a drug almost. Like you have to kind of use, in my opinion, you have to kind of use it a little bit sparingly.
Yeah.
Right. Throw in little bits, because when you do, and you like, you do throw out the motivation, you do throw out like the excitement for these things, it makes they hit so much harder. And they make it more, in my opinion, they make it just that much more valuable to like achieve that. Right. And those are like those little like reinvigorations of like motivation that you can get, like from the client side, to just be like, oh, fuck yes. Like, oh, hell yeah. Like I got that.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I always get weary when I see the trainers or the coaches that like, that is their shtick. Because I know that can be like easily turn offable for somebody walking in the door that's having a bad day, and they're like, I'm not here to hear this shit. Right. And so that can turn somebody off, like, and this, you know, that can, though the trainer or coach could have very good intentions, that could in turn like turn somebody off of them. Yeah. Right. They might have some, like the trainer or coach might have some very valuable things that can bring up to be able to help you in some capacity, but like it just isn't, it's not there. Right. Right. So,
and on the inverse of that, right, if you get it so much, like you were saying, sparingly in a drug, if you get it from one coach so much, you expect it from the next coach.
Yeah, you kind of set everybody else up for failure.
And the next coach is probably stoic like you and I are, reserved, and we're like, no, we don't do that shit. Like we want you to earn it. Like, we're going to do it for you. We're going to celebrate with you. But it's like, I'm not going to pat you on the back for doing an air squat. It's if you do it all the time, right? Like,
yeah, like, you know, it's, you get words of encouragement of just like, hey, good job, you're doing well. Yeah. But I'm not screaming at the top of my lungs, being like, I can't believe you're doing these awesome air squats.
You tied your shoe. I'm fucking proud of you.
Yeah, like
fuck.
Like, yeah, you've been doing this for the last 30 years. Like,
yeah, congratulations. All right, cool. I don't have any cookies. We'll give you one anyway.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It is funny. Like one of the little groups that I work with. One of the guy they brought in a new guy to the group, and he's like, I'm really happy you're not one of those like yelly trainers. And I was like, oh, dude, I couldn't muster that if I tried. Yeah. Like, so you do not have to worry about that. Yeah. And I was like, why? He's like, that just seems like annoying. Yeah. And I'm like, it largely is. But I think sometimes, like when we're talking about, you know, the new trainer, I think the new trainer, they're excited and they want to show their excitement.
Absolutely.
Right. So they're willing to like be extra, right, for like sessions and stuff.
And I think, you know, they'll learn. That's a learning curve.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're gonna, you know, your first year in, you're gonna be Energizer Bunny, gun ho, want to cheer for everybody. Maybe at the end of your first year, you're gonna be like, I'm fucking tired. Yeah,
it's exhausting to put that up for that long.
Yeah, I don't want to cheer for everybody anymore.
Yeah,
you do, but like you don't have the battery to do it.
Yeah, it's like I don't remember if it was here, but I brought up this idea of like toxic positivity. It might have been somewhere else.
No, oh well,
it wasn't last week.
Okay.
It might have been, but like, I no, I'm almost positive it wasn't. But like, there's this idea, right, where like, I think being too positive too often can be a bad thing. Like when you're projecting that. Yeah. Because it just, sometimes you don't need it. Like, it gets old. It can get old very fast. And then I think the other part, when, you know, we talk about new trainer being excited, then you also have like the old trainer. And I think that that becomes a crutch for them, because that's the thing that is building that has built them success. And again, from my experience, I would probably argue that the longevity of their clientele is probably fairly short. Yeah. Because that only goes for so long before it gets old and the people just don't want to hear that anymore. Yeah. And if you can't change and adapt to like the personality of your client, then you're gonna lose them at a certain point in time. Right. And if we're talking from business side, like that's not great either. Yeah. Because it's way harder and way more energy consuming to try and get new clients than it is to like keep the current ones happy. Right. So read the room.
Yeah, 100%. And I think even touching on that, shit, I just had it, lost train of thought. Fuck, it's gone.
Read the room.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Like,
I had it and it's gone. I was ready to spout off and it's gone. Just jumped away.
That's fair. Well, if it pops back up, we'll jump back. But that was kind of like largely the like main like things that I was thinking about.
Yeah.
That.
Oh, here it is. Back to it.
There
Got
we go.
it.
Let's
go. From the client side, right? Speaking to basically the energy, you want to find a trainer. I mean, depending on where you are, it may be limited. It may be vast, right? You may have extensive picks. You want to pick somebody who you vibe with, not just the first one that comes up to you who looks all ripped and strong and like they drink milkshakes all day, right? Like somebody that meets you at your level. Like in the same sense, yes, you are on the hunt for a personal trainer and they are on the hunt for a client, but you got to find somebody that vibes with you. You can't just take the first Joe that walks up to you and says, "Oh yeah, fuck, like work with me." You don't know them. Have a conversation with them. Make sure that they fit what you want. Like talk it out before you actually buy anything from them. Don't just fucking take them at their word. Like, yeah.
Hey, it's an interesting comment because there's sometimes too, right, where it's like, the initial days you're kind of like feeling each other out, right? And it's one of those where it's like, yeah, it might not click right away, but it might eventually. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's up to you from the client, right, on how much you're willing to like test the waters and see. But from a trainer side too, I think it's really important to note, like, you also have to enjoy the person as well. Like,
yeah,
I will constantly say this. Like, I am so lucky in what I do because almost everybody that I work with, I also want to hang out with.
Yeah, because
like we different whatever varying in opinions or whatever. Like, they're just cool people to like be around, and I like talking to them because I'm gonna be honest. Like, I've had some people that I'm just like,
nope.
I'm like, God, like you're a struggle to be around. Mm-hmm. There's this guy that I used to work with in Chicago that was like every single time, and I think I said this here, but like every single time that it was like time to come up, I'd be like, hey man, just so you know, we're like up on sessions, and he's like, okay, cool, yeah, let's just go ahead and get some more. And every time I'm like, I always think you hate me. and I remember like when I was leaving, and I'd like said, I was like, hey, I'm going to be done. Like, here's some stuff. Like, if you want to, like, here's some other trainers that I think would be a good fit for you. And they said no. But anyway, point is, and I asked him, and I was just like, out of curiosity, like, why did you keep working with me?
Yeah.
And the response was like, why do you ask? And I'm like, I just never felt like we really like clicked well.
Yeah.
And he was just like, no, man, I love working with you. He was like, you always did great. Like, I feel like I always got a good workout. Like, I'm just not super talkative.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, cool.
That's just his personality.
Yeah. He was just, I mean, dude, it was like crickets.
Yeah.
And it like turned into like, it was like forcibly small talk.
For sure.
Where I'm just like, how's your day?
Yeah.
Good.
Just one word answers.
Cool.
Yeah. Fine. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Did you have a good weekend? Uh-huh.
Sure.
All right. Sweet. It's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Time's up. We're going to go ahead and do another set.
Yeah. And another, like, from the trainer side too, is picking your clients, right, is pick somebody who's motivated, somebody who, yes, they will struggle, but like somebody who wants to keep going, not somebody who's not going to show up, somebody who always cancels on you. Like, for me, like we say, we value our time, right? I don't want to take your money if you're going to waste my time.
Yeah.
Like, I do this because I want to do this. I do this because I have a plan for it. And if you consistently fuck that up because you don't want to do it, I don't want you as a client. Go away.
Yeah.
Find somebody else to waste your money on.
I think from a new trainer, that's a very important mindset shift that at some point has to happen to realize, like, to value your time.
Yeah.
Because I've fired clients before, and it's a very weird situation to be in to do that to somebody. Because they don't expect it, because they're like, they just kind of assume like, I am buying a service, therefore I get said service.
Yeah.
But that's not always the case.
Yeah.
That's also not necessarily the world that we live in.
Yeah.
Because again, it's so much, the time is so much better. I become way more motivated to try and help when also I like you.
Yeah.
Also knowing that you're willing to do some work, come in, show up, like you whether motivated or not, like, you feel good, you don't, like, there's so many variations and ways that we can adjust to the training day for that, like the training for that day. But if you're like an energy vampire on me, like, or you're like, you just don't do the work, you don't show up, like, I would I would rather not have you or put you to somebody else that might be more, maybe we don't click and that's why.
Yeah.
Or I just don't have the thing for you. But I would rather put that off because for one, again, I value my time and I don't like, it sounds so arrogant to say, but like it's not. But like, I just don't want to work with you.
Yeah.
Time spent better elsewhere. As well as, oh shit, I lost my train of thought. New client, whatever, fire somebody.
Worth your time, value.
Also because my clients are a reflection of me.
Yeah.
Because again, we're under the assumption that they don't know better.
Yeah.
So what they get is based off of what I or you are teaching them.
Right.
And so if they're not doing work, but they talk about having a trainer and they're not changing in whatever capacity it is for change, then that makes me look bad.
You. Yeah, 100%.
And that's also a no-no.
Yeah.
And because another point too is like your clients are your billboards. Mm-hmm. Like if I do a great job, like you do a great job.
Yeah.
And if you do a great job, odds are you're going to talk about it. You're going to tell people about it, and people are going to notice those things, right? And so they're going to be like, "Oh, where'd that
free marketing?"
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Like all of your clients are marketing.
Yeah.
Like half of the clients that I've gotten this year alone have purely been from word of mouth because someone's like, "I really like what we're doing," or "I am getting good results," or just "I like you."
Yeah.
And they're like, "You should go see my guy," right? Which is kind of fun to hear when people are like, "Oh yeah, like my guy."
All right. No, go on.
Don't throw that shit at me right now. It's dark. We're in a goddamn hill. I don't need you looking out the window like there's somebody some boogeyman's about to jump in.
I thought I saw a blind in my room move.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's wind.
Something I got to worry about later. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not you.
right. Yeah, that's fine. I'll go home.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, but you know, clients are your billboard and your advertisement. You're not doing the work. They're therefore potentially making you look bad.
Yeah.
Club. Like people see that shit too.
Yeah.
Like when I was in the health club, like the first person I fired was a fairly prominent person, kind of in the community to a certain degree. And they like were constantly canceling. They were only doing like a singular 30-minute session, which I don't do 30 minutes anymore.
Yeah.
It's not worth the time. But it's, but they also at the time they also weren't doing any of the work outside of it. So like no changes, and their goal was weight loss. And by the time that I have confronted them, they actually put on weight.
Yeah,
like they went in the absolute opposite direction. This is a fun story. So, do you have anything to add before I just jump into this?
From my personal side is I won't take clients if I know they won't commit to me. I've done it a couple of times where I've written out a month's worth of programming, like taking the time out to actually go through, discuss what we're going to do, discuss the game plan. They'll show up, do day 1, day 2. I won't hear from them.
Ghost town.
And it's like, I'll hit them up like, yo, like, how's training going? Oh, I haven't been doing it. Is there a reason? Is it too much? Do we need to dial back? No, I'm tired. I don't want to. Okay. So are we done? Like, so like people that I get that vibe from, they'll ask me like, hey, do you want a program from me? No. like my immediate response to everybody is no. And they'll ask me why. And I'm like, prove to me you're going to commit to me. Prove to me you're going to commit to me. And then I'll write your programming.
Yeah.
Well, how do I prove it to you? Give me $100.
To pay me.
Give me $100 right now. I will give you 3 days of programming. If you do all 3 days of programming, I'll write you the rest of the month.
Yeah. Hey.
Most people will be like, $100, that's too much. Like, then you don't want it.
Then perfect.
Yeah. If you think $100 a month is too much for personalized programming, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. Like, I'm my coach. Like, she's a friend of mine. You too. Like, I was willing to pay you guys whatever you guys wanted because I value your time. I value your knowledge. I value your experience. You threw me a number. She threw me a number. It was the same number, right? And I was just like, in my head, I'm thinking like, are you undervaluing yourself or are you giving me a deal because we're friends? And I think it's because you're giving me a deal because we're friends, not undervaluing yourself. Like, I know you guys value the shit out of yourselves and what you guys do. But like, I had to take that into my mindset, and I was like, no, like these are my friends. They're giving me a deal because they know I will do the work. Yeah. They'll know I'll put in the work for it. They're not going to waste their time.
People are definitely willing to. I think, especially from like a friend side, right? Like, I think I told you like free.
Yeah,
and
you
like,
did. And I was like, I told
like,
you, fuck yourself. Like, I'm paying you something.
You're like, how's $10? Like, sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I was like, I'll pay for your your weekly gas bill.
So
I'll pay for 1 week of your gas bill.
1 week of my gas. Yeah, that'd be perfect actually. But anyway, point is, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely willing to put in and forgive more for people that I know that are trying.
Yeah.
Because I was like, look, I get it. Like, you're motivated, I'm motivated.
Right.
If you're putting in the work, I'm definitely putting in the work. Because like I want to foster that.
Yeah.
In any of my clients is like let's go. Like, if you're gonna do it, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a one-way street.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, and that's what I love about a client that meets you is just like you match the energy with each other. But at the end of the day, the client goes home. They're like, yeah, I had a really good workout. The coach goes home and it's like, okay, how do I improve this? Right. So the coach is still working.
Yeah.
Right. Like some athletes don't see it. Some athletes do see it and they appreciate it. Right. But for the most part, athlete goes home. They're like, all right, cool. I'm done. Like, I don't have to worry about what's next. Coach goes home and goes, all right, what's next?
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So like there's a lot more effort that most athletes don't see behind the clock or after the, behind closed doors, like what goes on for you next. Like we always, we don't always say it, but like we will say like you said earlier, your accomplishments mean more to us than they do to you. We know they mean a great deal to you, but it means even more to us that we were able to help get you there. And we prove to ourselves that it works. What we're doing works. It's an accomplishment for us as well.
Yeah.
Like it's a double win for us.
Yeah. It's probably not a great way to build self-esteem, but that's a lot of what happens.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh shit, I do know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's the little reminder. It's like, I do this for a reason.
Like, oh, I got this. Yeah, 100%. So funny. Yeah. So going back to me finding my guy.
Yeah.
So again, a fairly prominent dude, like billboard, right? Perfect advertisement for me. So they it was time to re-up, and I remember asking them about it, and I was like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? And they came to me, like, I saw them just in the gym. They were working out, not with me. And they were like, well, I'm not losing any weight. I'm not doing any of these things. And I was like, well, hold on. Like, you're going to don't come at me like this because we need to figure this shit out. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, how often do you come to, like, what you're following, like, the plan, right? And they're like, yep. And I'm like, okay, so you're coming to the gym, like, we're doing these things that I've, like, given you. And they're like, yep. I'm like, okay. And I remember doing, like, a measurement and, like, doing the measurements and stuff. And I was like, how did you put on weight? Like, this doesn't make sense. Like, so the only logical conclusion is, like, if you were doing the things that I am saying, like, and you're saying yes to, like, you're following the plan, like, at that point in time, even if it was a shitty plan, like, you're still going to get some level of results.
Yeah.
Right. Because it was earlier on into my career. And so I was like, you know what? I'm like, I don't believe him. Mm-hmm. Like, and I hated that feeling of like, oh, I don't believe you.
Yeah. Like of having to call your client out. I was just like,
yep. That wasn't fun.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't believe this shit. So I have they didn't go to another gym. So they only went to this club. Mm-hmm. And I can look that shit up. Right. Like, the power of technology.
Records, yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So because all the clubs, you have to give a card to somebody to sign in. So I like pull it up, and from like I looked at from the start of when they came in, or when we started working together, to like that moment, and I was like, and at that point it was like 12. I think it was like a 12 pack or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you have come in a total of 12 times, in like I was seeing them once a week. So like 12 times across 12 weeks. Yeah. That's 3 months.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell, man? I'm like, and he's like, well, that can't be true. I was like, it is true. I'm like, there is none of these health clubs that you can somehow sneak into.
Yeah.
I'm like, you have to walk through a front desk and somebody has to take your card. That's just the company policy.
Yeah.
And so I was like, so you've worked out a total, at least unless you're lying about another gym that you're going to. I was like, you have worked out a total of 6 hours. because they were 30-minute sessions. And they were just like, okay. And like, but it was more so in like the okay, like, oh shit. Like,
yeah. You got me.
Either this guy was so delusional that he thought that he was doing way more.
Yeah.
Or I was wrong somewhere else. But based off of their reaction, I gonna gather it was the prior.
Mm-hmm.
So we like at that point I was like, look, I have another trainer. If you want to work with another trainer, I was like, but our time together is going to be done at this point.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I'm like, I'm clearly not going to be the right person for you to like get you to do the things that you need to do.
Right.
And I like, there was people at the front desk, and I remember them like after like we like separated ways like in the gym. As an aside, like I wasn't like mad at him.
No,
I was frustrated for sure, but like I wasn't going to change my tune to him at all. So like it was a heavy conversation to be had because I was firing him. But when I still saw him, I was just like, hey, how's it going? Like, blah, blah, blah. What's up? Like, how's this, the things in your life going? Like, I'm not going to be a stranger or an asshole.
Yeah.
For one, because I don't want to be that person. And two, because I also have to see that person whenever they do come in.
Yeah.
So like hostile work environment, not a great idea. But I remember the people like at the front desk were just like, yo, like that was uncomfortable for us to listen to. They're like, cause you just straight called this dude out hard.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
Like I had to be real with them. Like, I'm not going to coddle this guy to like make them feel better when they're not doing anything. I'm not in it. Like the amount of money that I made off of that guy was not worth my time.
Well, yeah.
Like in any capacity. Cause it was just a frustration and a headache.
Yeah.
And then, it's kind of funny, but later on he asked about like, if he can come back, and like train with me. And I felt so bad cause I was like, no, man. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, it's like, it's nothing against you.
Yeah.
Even though it kind of is.
It's all against you.
It's literally all against you. But I was like, look, man, I'm like, it's like, I still like you. I still love you. Like no issues, no problems, like nothing like that. I was like, but from this professional side, it's just not going to work out.
Right.
And I was like, I'm like, this person I've talked to already. Like, if you are interested, they're more than willing to do like a free session with you. Like, you kind of feel it out, see whatever. I'm like, they're really good, blah, blah, blah. Dude, I was all about promoting other people.
Yeah.
And so that was it. Like, that ended up being being the end of it. And there was an interesting realization. My boss was not happy with me at that point either, because they're like, yo, what are you doing?
My job.
Yeah, I was like, and because he was like, that was money lost. I'm like, I get it, but it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And that was like an interesting like turning point for me, because that was like the moment that I realized like, oh shit, okay, like I have the control to say like yes or no.
Yeah.
And I was lucky enough at that point in time where I wasn't like starving to work. Mm-hmm. So I crossed that hump at that point in time, and where it was like I had the ability to pick and choose. And so it was like a really interesting turning point to say like, okay, my time is valuable. I have at that point I trusted into what I was doing, and also had the kind of the understanding that like, if it's not working, like it stops trying to fit like a square peg into a round hole type of thing.
Right.
And it was just kind of a fun story that I like to tell. I guess it's not fun for them. Fun for me. And kind of like it's because every time that I tell that to somebody who's new, like a new trainer that's like asking for advice or thoughts or whatever, like I'll bring this story up at some point in time.
Yeah.
Cause it's like, it's just a valuable teaching lesson to say like, you don't need that.
Yeah.
Like if you do well at your job and you're not a shitty person, like people will find you.
Right.
And you will find people to fill that space, people that you're going to be able to, that are going to pay you for your time and value everything that you're going to give them. So seek those people out, because they're going to sit with you longer. You yourself as the trainer are going to feel more fulfilled because you're actually having an impact on somebody rather than just going through the motions, because that shit sucks.
Yeah. It's just boring.
Do it.
It's fucking boring.
It's boring and it's not fulfilling.
No.
Because they're not getting any better. Right. And then because what happens, like you kind of brought this up, we were talking about like mentality, because what ends up happening is like, because this happened to me where I started running through this like spiral in my brain where I'm just like, okay, maybe I'm not that good. Like maybe I don't know what I'm doing because I can't have a positive effect on this. And us as humans, we always go straight to the negatives with all the negative connotation, or not connotations, but like the negativities in our lives will almost always weigh heavier on the positives. And it's really easy to get sucked into that stuff where I like this one person, I'm like, I'm not getting results off of it. I'm like racking my brain, freaking out that I'm like, shit, I'm a fraud.
Yeah.
When at the exact same time, I'm like, I got like 15 other people that are having like wild success.
Yeah.
So like, what the hell why? Or are you thinking that way? So like, if you ever do run into that, if you're a trainer listening to this, like keep those concepts in your head to know that like, odds are that one person is probably the outlier and not like the rest of the data. If it's more than one person, you probably look a little bit deeper inward and reevaluate a little bit. But like, if you're new, that's going to be a thing. Like, just know that you suck.
It's a learning curve, yeah.
Like, know that you kind of suck.
Yeah.
And it's going to get better.
We all sucked at the beginning.
Yes, we did.
Nobody came out with just like, I'm the best. Nobody.
Because more often than not, like...
They had to learn too.
Yeah, you have to start somewhere. You have to learn somewhere.
Yeah. And
especially for like the new people, like you don't... I was very fortunate in the way that I kind of went through my training or like my come up as a trainer, because the school taught, or the like part of the curriculum was to have clients from the very get-go as you are learning. Like, and these people they were paying like $10. Like, we didn't get paid for it, but like they paid fuck all to be able to do like work with a new trainer, knowing that they were a new trainer, knowing that they're going to suck, knowing that they're trying to get better. But that gave me a lot of confidence to be able to like how to talk to somebody and like teach somebody, like wildly worth it.
Yeah.
But like most certifications, most programs don't have that. So you never, like, your first experience of like actively working with a client is like at your first job.
Yeah.
Which is a nightmare. And most places do an absolutely terrible job bringing you up and like building confidence in like how to do that shit.
Yeah.
It's insane.
For sure.
So if you're new listening to this, like, just you got to fail.
Yeah.
Like, keep failing. Don't let it beat you up. And just note that, like, if you keep trying, you will get better.
Fall down 9, stand up 10.
Exactly.
Yeah. I had the fortunate upbringing as far as coaching and guiding goes. Like, everyone that I interned with, I feel they did a really good job showing me their way how to do it and then encouraging me to apply my own way. And they would follow me and watch what I do, and they'd be like, hey, maybe don't say this, try this, or hey, maybe when you're performing this, stand in front of them or stand side, like giving me good critiques. So I have to say thank you to everybody that helped me get to where I was, because I will say that I had the path of least resistance, basically. I followed, not to a T, and I learned my own way how to move throughout the CrossFit coaching spectrum. Probably a lot easier than most coaches have it or had it.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, it's the adage, right? We stand on the shoulders of the people that came before us. Yeah. And I think that's it's important to remember, like, you almost never come up by on your own. Mm-hmm. Like, very rarely is that a thing, right?
Takes a village.
You learn from somebody. You've learned from somebody else's mistakes, right? That's the kind of the whole point of like teaching, is to be able to like instill the wisdom, right? Like, one of the guy that I was working with at the gym, right? Mm-hmm. It was a lot of that. Like, he never had any experience in like coaching like that, and there was nobody to help him. And so, you know, I think I'm good, but you know, I'm sure I definitely got stuff to learn.
Yeah.
But it's like, the minor things that like you learn along the way, I was able to kind of give him notes right off the bat. I was like, here's what I saw. Here's what I need you to do. Yeah. And and it was like a night and day difference when they started to implement that. And then, like, kind of you were saying, like, I was like, okay, you just now sound like you're regurgitating me. Mm-hmm. I was like, so take the concept and make it yours. Yeah. Like, say it in your way. I'm like, don't say it my way. Yeah. I'm like, because it sounds forced. I'm like, find your voice.
He's a good kid. I hope he does really well.
He's crushing it. I check up with him every so often.
Tell him I said hi. Tell him he owes me a workout, first of all.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. No, he's doing very well.
Good,
with.
I'm very glad.
The new place. But yeah, it's like that shit's important, right? Like again, the education for new trainers, new coaches is more often than not absolute dog shit.
Yeah.
In a lot of places, and that's because the people who are like running the show don't know how to do it because they've kind of had to like figure it out on their own and never had like guidance in a way to like teach
Or never asked.
or aren't interested.
Yeah.
Like there's that point too. Getting like real preachy right here for some reason.
Well, you and I did say we haven't done this in I don't know, 10 episodes now.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. We haven't really talked fitness in a little bit.
Yeah. We haven't ranted like this in a little bit either.
So I guess the cap to the thing to look at. So bringing it back to the main topic here. So a lot of the like these kind of like warning signs from like from a client side are things in my I guess our opinion is to pay attention to into the trainer that you're looking for and knowing that it's like, hey, these are some things to look at, and either if you're comfortable with it, address it, or find somebody new. If you're a coach and you find yourself doing any of these things, stop it. Don't do these things anymore.
Yeah, reassess.
Reassess, because you're giving a bad experience you're likely giving a bad experience to your client, as well as you're likely putting them in some risks depending on which fault you're realizing. And if you're more of a veteran trainer and this is like you find yourself in some of these things like and you're having issues with it, then time to reassess as well.
Though, yeah, the one thing I like to say or discuss, especially because I've been through it, I know you've been through it, like you will get burnt out, right? And if you know, like if you want to keep pursuing training, if you want to be a personal training coach, whatever, but you are feeling burnt out, take a break.
Yes.
Take a break, okay? CrossFit gyms, global gyms, facilities, they don't pay you no health insurance. They don't give a fuck about your health. You're going to burn out and they don't give a shit. You're replaceable. That's what we've been told our whole lives coming into this fucking industry. You're replaceable, right? Take a fucking break.
Yes. If you definitely feel like you're getting to that point, especially like kind of a point of apathy, it's definitely a warning sign for you personally to be like, I should probably step back.
Yeah.
I think also kind of when we were talking about too about being able to kind of pick your clients a little bit, and kind of like what I was saying where I'm like super fortunate that I want to hang out with every single person that I work with. That makes the job so much easier. Yeah. Because it takes so much of that stress off of having to like force something or force a connection, because when like it's like with friends, like we all have like the good friend that we can just like, I mean, fuck, we were both just like randomly laying down on the couch just talking about comics and shit. And it was like none of that was forced. It just kind of naturally happened. Yeah. Right. So like there's a very ease, like I'm very much at ease around you. And so that babe. But that same rule applies to like clients as well. Like I'm at ease a lot with my clients. Yeah. Now, from a professional side, I'm very much on and like still doing the things that I need to do. But like I don't have that added level of stress of like trying to necessarily prove something. Right. And that just makes, I had a long ass day today. Yeah. Well, I saw a decent amount of people, and like I'm not stressed about it. Like I had awesome times every hour. Like it was great. I can't complain. Yeah. So it makes the burnout a lot less like it lowers the potential of burnout. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely on the personal training side, it's definitely a lot easier because you are able to pick your clients. On the group gym side, like the groups class sides, it's a little harder, right?
It's a lot harder,
and you have to realize that in yourself when you are hitting your limit. You have to internalize or look inside and be like, yo, like I'm beat, I'm burnt, and you have to step away. There's no shame in it, right? Like
it happens.
It happens, and it will only make you a better coach to step away, take a week, take whatever time you need to take off to come back and be like, all right, I'm good to go again. But take that break. Otherwise, if you hit that burnout wall, because I hit that burnout wall, I've hit it twice now. I quit coaching for a year.
That's true.
Because I'm just like, yo, fuck this. Like, I don't want to work for these assholes. I don't want to coach these assholes. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Like, this is stupid. But it was a bad mindset. It was a terrible mindset because my frustration was not at the athletes. My frustration was, like I should have seen this coming and I should have taken my own break.
Yeah.
So speaking from experience, take a break.
Yeah, it helps. Yeah, no, I think that's a really good kind of good end point on that one.
Yeah.
Anything else kind of on the topic, or I guess not on the topic, that you want to chat about? I feel like there's a lot off topic that we could talk about, but
yeah.
Maybe let's stick to more on topic.
As far as this specific topic, no, I think, without regurgitating everything we already said, take breaks, pick your clients, have fun. Be safe, but have fun with it.
Yeah, enjoy.
Yeah, it should be something you enjoy, especially if this is what you want to do to make money. You got to enjoy it.
That's true.
You have to enjoy it because starting off, you're not going to make shit. You're not going to make shit. Promise you.
Yes. Definitely depending on where you're working, for sure. More often than not, if you're working at a CrossFit gym, good luck.
Yeah.
You're not making any money there.
Nope.
More often than not.
Mm-hmm. Also, ask for more money than what they offer you. Ask for more. Hey, if you have experience. If you're brand new, you're fucked.
You kind of get what you get.
You're fucked.
To a certain degree.
Take that internship.
Don't pay for your internship.
No,
either.
don't pay for your internship.
If they're making you pay a gym membership to be an intern for your free services, we got some bigger problems there.
Woosah.
Woosah, yeah. Take a breath, my friend. Breathe it in.
Whew.
Let it out.
Don't pay for internships. There's no such thing as a pay to intern. It's a paid internship.
Or unpaid. I mean, there's definitely unpaid.
Yeah, but never you have to pay to intern.
Yeah, that's
silly.
Asinine in my opinion.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, it made me think. Sorry, I can argue a point to why you might pay for something, but
I was thinking one too. Is like you pay for an education, but
yeah, there's certain. I know of facilities that will have stuff like that, but they're also like kind of world renowned.
Yeah.
For like the education standpoint, so you're paying for essentially like on-site practicals.
Yes.
From like a leading expert.
Yes.
So that one I could argue more, but
on average across the
more
board.
often than not, that's a little bit more of a rarity.
Yeah.
So I went. That's an outlier. Use those as an outlier,
right?
An exception to the rules.
Mm-hmm. Like if Ryan and I start our own facility, we're probably not going to charge you.
I know.
Yeah.
If it's going to be something that we're like coaching classes because it's a potential like employee.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Like. Also, I don't believe in that shit. Like, if someone's gonna come on, like, you have to pay.
Yeah,
I think it's unacceptable in some of the ways that these things work these days. I mean, I've been out of like I guess the bigger box places, so things might have changed, but I'd be very surprised that like you get paid fucking nothing to like. Kind of struggle, especially in places too where like you don't really get a whole lot of learning experience. So it's kind of like a figure it out. Like, I mean, yeah, man. Like because the second, from a training side, I think, in my opinion, the second you start like when you become desperate for money, because you're not making any money, potential clients can feel that you're striving for that sale. Or like you're pushing for the sale because you need money.
Yeah.
And the second people start feeling like a dollar sign, like you're losing them.
Yeah.
And like that's not good.
Yeah.
And to a certain like from a business side, like yes, you do have to look at people as like they are money to a certain degree, right? Like if you want your business to succeed, you want to eat. I like to eat food. I want to be able to support like myself. I want to be able to do stuff with Marissa. Like I want a roof over my head. Like I have to make money.
Yeah.
Right. So that's always a thing that exists in the background. But like I hope that I am never projecting that onto my clientele, because that's not good.
Or your staff.
Yeah. There's a way to talk. There is definitely a way to talk about finances in a way that doesn't come across as like you are my money machine.
Yeah.
Because that's the same sentiment applies from like the higher up too, where it's like the second that like as an employee you start feeling like a dollar sign, that's also a pretty bad place to be in. It's not comfortable.
Nope.
So as a trainer, just note that there's, if you're fairly decent at what you do, you can pretty much work anywhere, which is nice. So that's that.
That's all I got.
Yeah. All right. Mr. Eric, where can people find us?
People can find us at our Instagram at another_rep_podcast, and you can reach out to us at anotherreppodcast@gmail.com.
Sound like you were doing like a quick reach us remix. And you can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. Hit that link tree up in the Instagram page, and you get a link to all of that. All of our Spotify, YouTube, Twitch sometimes,
maybe eventually.
Hopefully, at some point in time, that'd be kind of fun to do live stuff.
We got to use that thing.
I do to play video games.
Yeah.
So I need to get you the login.
Yeah, so I can stream.
You can stream video games too. If you ever want to randomly watch either me or Eric, or if some point in time as us boomers learn how to use Twitch more, both of us to maybe playing video games, and hopefully at some point in time be able to do like live stream stuff for the podcast. Give the channel a subscribe.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/anotherrep.
Woo.
How do I remember that?
I have no idea. That's impressive though, because that flowed right off the tongue.
Yeah, I know. All right.
You're like a spokesman for Twitch right now.
I guess. I'm trying to become an affiliate. All right. I want to do that. Also, if you have any questions, hit up our line.
Yeah.
Right. Text us, call us, 530-podcast. That's it.
All
right. Bye.
Bye.